Hi, I'm Carmela Sardo, class of 1956, and very happy to be here to see all of our classmates from yesteryears.
I'm Sylvia Rinaldi, class of 56. I've been coming to this reunion for a couple of years, and it's really a nice affair. I'd like to thank Joe Morelli and his committee for doing all this, because it's great to see everyone again.
Hi, I'm Eileen McAllister Williams, a graduate of 1963 at Dunmore High School. This is a class reunion. It's several different classes, not just ours. It's exciting to see different people. They come from all over. It's a good turnout so far. We're really looking forward to the rest of the event. It's nice to be here. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the 4th annual Golden Bucks reunion. It's so great to see so many familiar faces. It brings back so many memories, I'm sure.
Bill Peterface.
Lucy Luciano, class of 1967.
Susan Kuchak.
Julie Yondo, class of 1967.
Mary Papa Quintafio, class of 1967.
Carol Conway Kerrigan, class of 67.
Steve Deminovich, class of 1967.
I want to first of all remind you that raffle tickets are still for sale, and it's a fundraiser for the Dunmore Community Foundation. Last year we were able to give the foundation about, it was about $1,200, which goes a long way to help the athletic teams and the academic programs at the high school. So it's a great way to go. I also want to start by thanking the committee that helped put this together. Especially want to thank Joe and Mimi Castrogiovanni, who took over the major work, because Joe took it over, and you see the results. It's fantastic. I want to thank Nick Telly, who we use his office for the meetings, and he collects the reservations. Dr. Ed Malloy, Larry Nicholas, who was responsible for the programs. Pat Sandone helps out in every way he can. And then Carm Castellani and Carm Pollard, who helped Joe with a lot of the clerical work that needs to be done. So I really want to thank that group, and they've done a fantastic job once again. Before we eat, and you'll be called up by table, I want to start out by giving the pledge to the flag, okay, like we used to do. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I don't know if we want to stand, but let's sing the alma mater, which is on your programs. Dear Dunmore, thy honor is safe in the hands of thy sons and thy daughters so true. The students and athletes fresh victories each year shall win for the crimson and blue. We strive with our might thy fond anthem to exalt. We will sacrifice self to the aim, and united in heart and in hand will achieve only these that shall add to thy fame. I see there's a few typos in there, which will be corrected for next year. Let us pray. Let us pray before meal. Okay? Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity to come together as Golden Bucks, to see our classmates and reminisce about our high school days. Let's remember and pray for those classmates that have entered your heavenly kingdom. Close friends, teammates, fellow band members, fellow cheerleaders, twirlers, and student groups that you were part of. Let's remember especially and pay tribute to all alumni that served our country in each war, and those more recently, those that gave their all for this great country, namely Carol Drasba, who incidentally was the first nurse to be killed in Vietnam, Tony Batista, who was valedictorian of the class of 1960, Tommy Malloy, brother of Dr. Malloy right here. We dedicated a bench to these individuals at the Murley Center, the Veteran Center downtown many years ago. And there's also a statue, a full statue of Carol Drasba. And of course, Lord, bless this food, which we're about to eat, and help us continue to do thy will. Amen.
Bill Mack, class of 53.
Mary Rose Malia, class of 56. And the class of 56 probably has the most graduates in attendance. Anytime we have anything, we get a large group, even when it's our class reunion.
Hi, I'm Lucy Cantarella Verastro, class of 1956. And all I have to say is go Bucks beat Lakeland tonight.
Come on.
Hi, it's Elizabeth Yurkovic, and I'm from 56.
Angelo Pacino, class of 56.
My name is Tatiana Michiki Boese. I graduated in 1956, and I'm just so happy to be here with all my classmates. Thank you.
I am Joe Castro Giovanni, my wife Mimi, class of 61. To the members of 61, if you see this video, next year will be our 65th reunion. Hope to see you then. Here's my other brother.
I'm the younger brother. Okay, this is Don Mastry, class of 1961, born and raised in Dunmore, and retired and looking forward to the next reunion. And next to me is Andy Suma.
Hi, Andy Suma, class of 56, looking forward to the next reunion.
Sam Zaffino, class of 61. I've been around the world.
But there's no place like Dunmore. I'm Merlene Malia-Round, and I'm a class of 61, and I drove all the way from Connecticut to be here with my classmates. Great day.
We're going to give out prizes in the form of free raffle tickets to the individual who had to travel the furthest to get here. Anybody come from a different state to get here today? Eleanor from Virginia. Where? Florida. Oh, I think she has you beat, Eleanor. She came from Florida. That's the furthest to travel from here. You win 2 free tickets for the raffle, so you get not a very high-priced budget here. All right, now, how about the person that traveled the least distance to get here? Does anybody live in the neighborhood? Carm lives across the street. Anybody beat it? Carm lives across the street. You win 2 tickets, okay? Now, how about the individual, and you may not want to admit to this, but we want to identify the oldest in the crowd. I know we have class of 52 or 3. So, Danny, 87, 86. Angelo, where are you? You're 89, right? Angelo wins 2 tickets to raffle. Yeah. Okay, now, 90. You win 2 tickets too. Now, how about the youngest? I know we have a class of 74. Is that the youngest? Where's the class of 74? 74? Okay, one of you have got to be the youngest. That young lady there gets 2 tickets. Okay, now we want to give 2 tickets to the individual who has a birthday that is closest to today. 2 for her. Okay, now we want to give tickets to the class that has the most people in attendance. No, I think 61, right? How many from your class are here? 56. 56 has 11. How many do you have?
We have 12.
One each.
Each one gets
one each. Sorry. Members of the oldest class. What year is that? 50, 53, 54, 52, 53. How about the youngest class? What's the youngest class? 74? 74? 74 right there. Class of 74, the youngest. They each get 1. Oh, here comes our guest speaker. We'll do this. We'll do him next. That looks like him. We're really pleased to have with us today our superintendent of schools, John Marishak. John was a 3-sport letter winner at Scranton Tech and an honor student. He played football at that other university in Philadelphia. And that's Villanova, great institution. And then became a championship-winning coach at Scranton Central for a number of years before he saw the light and came to Dunmore, and became a Dunmore Buck. Let's welcome John Marichak.
Thanks, Joe. Thank you. Wow, what a turnout for this event. Again, my name is John Marichak. I'm the current superintendent of the Dunmore School District. I've served in this capacity for the past 10 years, and I've really enjoyed being a part of our school community. I wanted to thank you for the honor and privilege to have an opportunity to address this amazing organization. As mentioned, I have worked in the Scranton, North Pocono, and Wayne Highland school districts as well as Dunmore. I filled the role of teacher, coach, principal, and various other administrative roles. This gives me a wide range of experience, and I feel very comfortable saying that Dunmore is a very unique place. Our school community is the center and core of the entire community. To think that schoolmates are still getting together and actively supporting and contributing to our larger mission is remarkable. It leads me to surmise that you all must have had wonderful, meaningful, and memorable experiences throughout your school days. So as I prepared to come here today, I thought to myself, wow, a group of 50-plus year graduates. Then I started to slow down and say, wait a minute, you're not such a spring chicken yourself. After I took my shoes off with my toes and my fingers, it's coming up on 40 years for me. So we all know that it happened so very quickly. I graduated from Scranton Tech almost 40 years ago. Upon further reflection, I realized that nothing like this exists in my old school, certainly. I researched and asked around all of the superintendents, network and speak, and nobody has anything like this. This is unique. I can't even remember the last time I spoke from someone from my generation, my class, or sat down and had a good time with them, or spent some meaningful time. Nevertheless, we certainly didn't get together and have a good time with a purpose and do something positive. This doesn't happen in any other places but Dunmore. It's my understanding that the proceeds from this and other functions will benefit our students through the Dunmore Area Education Foundation. So far, what we've been able to accomplish through the foundation is they fund our STEM program in the Dunmore Elementary Center. Every student gets access to STEM education on a daily basis. STEM camps and competitions are funded fully by the foundation. This gives our students great opportunities for exposure and advantages in these subject areas. Our students have attained great levels of success at these various competitions. If you think we're good in football and girls basketball, we kill it at the STEM competition in Valley View. Our girls win it every year, 5 or 6 groups. Your efforts will go a long way to positioning our students for lifelong success. I should mention that there is an emphasis on our female students at this level because they are traditionally not attracted to or been left out, or they haven't been embraced by the STEM area. From the perspective of our school district, our students are so lucky to have an alumni group or groups who care enough to want to actively engage and get interested in the lives of our current students. We are so very lucky that those who came before care enough to put forth the effort to ensure that the next generation is supported and guided towards success. I want to share a story that really epitomizes Dunmore to me. It was my first year as superintendent. It's the first week of school. I get a certified letter from this organization in Wisconsin. Know nothing about it, doesn't make any sense to me. They were threatening a civil rights lawsuit against us because they had a clip from WNEP Channel 16 showing our great coach Henzes praying, leading his team in prayer. I saw the clip. If you've been to a game, you've seen it 100 times. I believe the clip was a couple of years old by the time it got in our hands. Trying to do the right thing, I shared the letter with our solicitor, and we agreed upon a plan of action to protect the district from litigation. Again, I don't know what this club's function was or what they were doing, or this organization, but they didn't like prayer. We got together with the solicitor, what was going to be the best way to protect the district. We had a meeting with Coach Henzes, and if you know Coach Henzes, this man was very religious. Tim Hopkins, our high school principal, was in that meeting, our athletic director, and so on. We explained that the team could pray, but an adult leader hired by the district couldn't lead that prayer. Coach Henzes was having a very difficult time understanding it. He couldn't understand how prayer could be looked at in a negative or a bad way. We were trying to give him scenarios and our interpretations of First Amendments, and it was a conversation. I mean, I explained as a coach, we did the Our Father every day before our games. I had Jewish kids, I had Muslim kids, but we did the Our Father, so I'm sure I violated people's civil rights, but we were in a locker room and there were no TV cameras. I think after about an hour, I think we got through to coach so that he was comfortable that he wasn't doing anything wrong and he could proceed and how he could, fit it into his routine. I get a little hungry about 11:30. I'm on my way home, and in the front yard of our principal, Tim Hopkins, who was in that meeting, was a sign that said, "God, family, and the Dunmore Bucks." I don't know how it happened. It was a half an hour. There were signs made up and they were already in people's yards. But I sure as heck knew at that point what the values of the Dunmore community were and what the fabric of that community was. In closing, I believe that this group and groups like this are creating and cementing the greatest legacy of all. You are committed to leaving Dunmore better than you found it. On behalf of the district and our students, thank you for caring. And finally, we got to quote Mr. Hopkins one more time. You are living proof that once a buck, always a buck. Thank you very much.
The Dunmore Community Foundation is doing some great work, particularly for that STEM program, which is vital. Plus, as I mentioned before, the Dunmore Community Foundation also helps to support some of the athletic teams and then also some of the clubs or academic programs. They need the private monies in order to continue what they're doing. And our foundation is doing a great job in making that happen. So if you're asked to contribute, please consider, okay? It's a great cause. I'd like to call on anyone who would like to come up and maybe add to what John was saying about experiences at school that may have been memorable to you. I could probably give you about 10 of them, and I'm sure some of you will remember the past teachers we've had and some of the hard times we gave those poor teachers. I remember hearing it was the class, I think it was class of 54, maybe 52. Sal Marquez, that name familiar? But Sal and the boys they were a little bit rough. They always liked to have a good time. And my understanding is, I could never prove this though, but they claim that they hung poor Baldy McGuire, we called him Baldy. They hung Baldy McGuire out the window. And I think that's a true story. The other story is our class of 60. We had a couple of characters that decided that they were going to give Gracie McCann a hard time. She had a fish tank in her room. So during lunch, my good buddy, I don't know if you remember Joe Cadaro, and Birdseye Ruan, they snuck into her class because they had her at 1 o'clock. So they snuck in during lunch hour and they put Alka-Seltzer in the tank. When she walked in, those fish were floating up at the top like this. And she walks in, and she knew exactly who did it. She says, "Cadaro, Ruan, get up here." She kicked him out of class. There's a lot of incidents like that happened that really made going to Dunmore High School a unique experience. I remember a physics teacher, Sarge Preston. If you were talking or misbehaving, or if you were cheating in a test, if you remember, his desk was right in front of the chalkboard. He'd lean back like this, grab an eraser, and throw it at you. Only in Dunmore, I think that happened, but there are a million experiences like that. So if anyone have similar experiences, please come up and tell us about it.
No school experiences, but I wrote a poem about Dunmore.
Oh, fantastic.
Fantastic. All right, my name is Joe Mahalik. I'm technically the class of 67. I say technically because I lived on West Pine Street, right by the Lewis Cone junkyard, and redevelopment came through and took all those houses away. My dad, then, he was already working in Allentown, so we moved. He said, "You're always a buck." And I'm born and raised in Dunmore. The house I was born in is gone, and so my heart's always been in Dunmore. So I wrote a poem, prose, whatever you want to call it, about my experiences in Dunmore, and I'm sure that many of you will relate to this. Dear Dunmore, Dunmore, dear Dunmore, always on my mind, with the memories and the friendships I had to leave behind. The sadness still lingers the day I had to part. Oh Dunmore, dear Dunmore, forever in my heart. You welcomed me into your world on the morning in May as I grew Through your streets, my friends and I would play. The playground at Golo was just one place to be, and we'd play in the leather dust around the giant tree. And I don't know if you remember, the Golo Shoe Factory used to dump their scrap leather dust around. We called it the giant tree because it was a big popular tree. There were snakes to catch and trees to climb, collected soda bottles to return for pennies, nickels, and dimes. Another playground of sorts was the Lewis Cone scrapyard behind my house at West Pine Street. Extremely dangerous, of course, but us kids thought it was neat. We would climb around piles of old coal cars, and mountains of square blocks of scrap metal. Maybe get torn clothes, cuts and scrapes, injuries from which some of us would cried, but no one died. To the Orient we'd walk on Saturday afternoon. Seems all the kids in town were there to watch 20 cartoons. Grade school for some was Jefferson with William Penn, Lincoln. I believe grades 1 to 8 were at St. Mary's and St. Anthony's too. For some, junior high was attended only half days because Longfellow was condemned and had to be raised. Off to the high school was a time to remember. Maybe a little anxious that first week in September. Home football and basketball games always brought a crowd. Win or lose, our teams always made us proud. And who can forget the gym at the high school? You must admit, it was really cool. Not only a gym, but a cafeteria, auditorium, and a concert hall. Dances were held there and we all had a ball. But sadly today that gym is gone. But in that gym we heard the sound of silence. We were California dreaming and telling Sloopy to hang on. We hiked and swam, swimsuits optional, up the creek. At night, go uptown, maybe shoot pool at Nick's. We might still go to the Orient on Saturday night, meeting friends near the back row, and sometimes we'd even watch the show. At the Candy Kitchen or Callie's, we'd gather and meet, mostly just to hang out and see what's going on and get some ice cream treat. We'd also meet for pizza at Drinker or Gus's. And remember going to the Masonic Temple in Scranton, following favorite bands and singers, or dances at youth centers? Oh yeah, sometimes we'd walk, drive, or take the buses. Remember the zoo and swimming at Naog Park, or maybe drive there at night and park. Just to talk, of course. There were ball games and gatherings at Schultz's Field, lots of football games without pads, tackle, and touch. No one got hurt much. Picked up chicks at the poultry market feed store. Get it? Picked up chicks at the... Okay. As well as picnics and other gatherings I'm sure I've missed. I need some help to fill in the blanks to remember more. Well, this sampling of memories is mostly just mine. They cover only one particular period in time, but all memories can be different depending on the person, time, and years. Filled with good times, yes, bad times, and maybe some tears. There may be things to come to mind that we might regret, though it is best not to linger on those things and forget. But to the happy and the good times, we should all cling, and until the final curtain we shall sing. Dunmore, dear Dunmore, always on our minds, with the memories and the friendships some of us had to leave behind. And it matters not how far from you we roam, Dunmore, dear Dunmore, will always call you home. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Abby. When you stand after me,
That was, how about a round of applause for that? That was fantastic.
I'm Dorothy Kelly, I'm class of 1961, and I'm so glad to be here with some of my classmates, and it was a pleasure that we have instituted this Dunmore Bucks Golden Reunion.
Hi, I'm Pat Doherty Lombardo, class of 61, and Dorothy said everything already, so I have nothing else to say.
Hi, I'm Marie Mecca Warehouse, class of 61, and we have some more people lined up to speak, so I'm going to pass the mic on.
My name is Carmen Castellani, graduated 1961 from Dunmore High School.
It's time for the raffle, okay? Eddie, tell us what the prize is and then pull the number.
This is a gift certificate
Two Brothers Restaurant for dinner, and the number is 1607421. Okay, so this is a Cara Mia gift certificate for $25. And let's see, the number is 1607952. This is for West Main, Dalton, PA. This is a restaurant, a gift certificate for $50. Bailey's Restaurant in Dalton, Pennsylvania. The number is 1607511. It's okay. Well,
Elmhurst Country Club.
this is Elmhurst Country Club, and this is 4 players. It's a foursome for 18 holes of golf at the Elmhurst Country Club. The number is 160, but then 8282. So 8282. Okay, well, good. This is a Ragnacci's restaurant. It's a $50 gift certificate for dinner at Ragnacci's. So 160-7260, 7260. Right, good.
Another Bailey's restaurant for $50.
This is Bailey's Restaurant. That's in Dalton, Pennsylvania. Bailey's Restaurant, right on Main Street in Dalton. $50 gift certificate. 160-7541, 7541. Yeah. Okay. So, so this prize is for a cup of coffee for a year at the Electric City Coffee in the Fidelity Bank, and so that's Nick Tully and Mary Tully. So the number is 7940, 7940. That's 160-7940. This is a donated picture by Ann Parks. It says born and raised in 1862, Dunmore, Pennsylvania. It's very, very nice picture. And the number is 160-7247. 7247. Jersey, okay. So this is the last prize. This is a Dunmore Bucks football jersey and hat. 1607563. Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember.
That sort of concludes our program. I do hope you plan on being here next year.
Sal Mecca, class of 1957.
Dan Ionelli, class of 57.
Dominic Mastry, class of 1961.
Andy Suma, class of 56.
Sabian Arrow, class of 62. Angelo Petito, class of 56.
We should give a shout out to Big Bandy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Ann just reminded me that since last Super Bowl, Dunmore has a well-known, nationally known figure in the persona of Vic Fangio. I have to tell you a story about Vic. You know, I hadn't seen Vic in quite a long time. The day after the Super Bowl, you know, and I think he was solely responsible. His defense was solely responsible for winning that Super Bowl. I texted Joe Marciano. Do you know that name? Joe Marciano was a longtime special teams coach in the NFL, and he and Vic were buddies. They both did an internship, a football internship at Penn State. They coached in Philadelphia. They coached in Philadelphia for the Stars, and they won the championship. And Mara was the coach. Mara got the job with the Saints. They both moved to New Orleans. And then Joe went to the Buccaneers, and Vic went, I think, somewhere else, but then wound up in San Francisco as the D coordinator. And they give Jack credit for everything they know about football. Jack was one heck of a coach, as you know. The day after the Super Bowl, I hadn't talked to Vic in a long time. I got Vic's cell phone number from Joe, and I texted Vic, and I said, hey, congratulations, Vic. You know, you make Dunmore proud. 10 minutes later, I got a response. The day after the Super Bowl, you would think that he'd still be sleeping or something. Yeah? I got a response. I thought that was quite impressive, and I hadn't seen this guy in years, you know. That's just the kind of guy he is. If you notice the interviews with him, you can tell he's from Dunmore. He's got that accent, you know. But I've been following their career throughout, you know, for a long, long time. When Joe Marciano was the special teams coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I was in Tampa. I was visiting another Dunmore person that you all know by the name of Jeanette Bardini. You know that name? She was Miss Buck 1958, 57, 58. She and her husband, Jimmy Melody, was from the Patch. They moved down to Tampa, and they opened a pizza place on the campus, University of Tampa. But so I went to visit Jeanette. I knew that Marciano was in town, so I called him, and he said, "Come to practice." So I go to practice with the Tampa Bay Bucks at their practice facility, and I'm walking in, and the whole team is up on the bleachers. They were taking a team picture, and Joe's standing on the top of the bleachers. And I walk in, and he yells, "Dr. Morelli, once a buck, always a buck." You know?
Mary Ann Giannoni Bowen, class of 1963, best class ever.
Darlene Blasco Marzelli, class of 63, best party class.
Bernadette Clem Sanacero, class of 63, best class.
Pat Sandone, class of 63.
Charlie Sabatel, class of 63.
Carmi Pinto, 1963, the best class ever.
Joe Mahalik, class of 67. We really had a good time being here. Thank you.
I'm Louis Palumbo, graduated in 1961.
Barbara Coaches Weber, class of 63. And you, Chris?
And I'm Chrissy Pinto Arcangelo, class of 63. The best class in the whole wide world.
The best class.
Yeah, the best.
Yeah.
The nicest people in the whole world. Yeah. That's because we're from Dunmore, and Dunmore has the nicest people.
And the biggest reunion.
I thought she was going to say the biggest bull throwers, but she didn't say that. No, but we are good people anyway. Thank you so much. This was a great reunion.
Dunmore Bucks are everywhere, you know, wherever you go. And we're so lucky. I think we're so lucky to have been born and raised here. You know, tremendous family values. You know, that God family at Dunmore Bucks is really, really true. And I think we're fortunate that we, again, we're born and raised here. All right, again, thank you, everybody. Great to see everybody. And have a... Hello, Dunmore alumni. I'm Joe Morelli, class of 1960. This reunion for what we call Golden Bucks is just a fantastic event that we have done now for 4 years, and hopefully we continue for many years to come. It's a great way to reminisce and talk about our high school days and how great we were. I'm hoping that everybody will bring one more person with them next year, and we can do it again. I'd also like to have a shout out though to a couple of my close buddies that were in my class, Frank Healy, who couldn't be here, and Mike Canavy, who couldn't be here, my good buddy who just passed away, who was on the committee, Pat Ruan, and Barbara May, who normally came but is not here today. I'd like to say hello, and Sally Hawkins, who is in Venice, Florida. Joanne Sari, who could not make it today, but I just want to say hello to these classmates and wish them well, and hopefully we can see them next year.